I've never really been a big fan of that 100 emoji that looks like what your teacher would write on your paper, but today I feel like it's appropriate. I hit 100 subscribers and I've made 100 videos and I've rebranded my channel 100 times. Not really, but I have been, shall we say, pivoting a healthy amount in the past year or whatever that I've been working on this channel. So in honor of this whole 100 subscribers thing, which means that I can finally choose a posh vanity URL for my YouTube channel, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to change the name of my channel. And I've been putting a lot of thought into what my channel is about, what it's for, and most importantly, for whom and for why, if I can say that way, why I'm even doing it. And here's a long story about where I am with all that at present. So I jumped in initially with the idea of start before you're ready, which lots of entrepreneurial coaching types espouse, and that whole like Seth Godin just ship idea. I just got going with a few ideas about videos I wanted to make because I would find them interesting, and maybe some other humans might also find them interesting. I don't know. So these early videos were in my Research, Resell, Repeat series, and they were mostly about pretty specific historic and ephemera related topics, as I sell and am generally interested in these sorts of things. And after a while making these deep dives, as they say, I realized that I was being pretty super niched, maybe too niched, which is often a problem I have. And maybe not everyone cares about or needs to know the difference between magic lantern slides and glass plate negatives, though I don't know why you wouldn't need to know that. But anyway, it was also taking me quite a long time to make those videos, as I had to verify everything I thought I knew with some backup research and a lot of photo research. And then I was making these slide decks, and all of those things are things that I enjoy more or less, but it was taking a long time, so it wasn't really great for throughput. So then one day I had this revelation. It was probably while I was out on one of my endless pandemic lockdown walks around the neighborhood, and I realized that in all the reselling communities that I participate in or lurk in or read occasionally, people are always asking these how-to questions about eBay. Some of it is basic stuff, some of it is advanced stuff, but it's all the kind of question that can be answered with a sort of tutorial style answer. And I thought, I can answer those questions. So thus, the eBay School series was born on my channel. And of course, since I've spent the past 20 years convincing businesses to rebrand and then coming up with strategies and redesigns for them, I kept making new logos for everything on my channel because that's just the way I am. I can't stop myself. And I realize it's totally confusing that as far as viewers concerned, my channel may be called Research, Resell, Repeat, or it may be called eBay School, or it may be called Annie. It's a bad brand strategy. Not that anyone sits around fretting about this except me, as my significant other likes to point out. So at any rate, having hit this momentous milestone today, or not today, this week, of fame, glamour, and fortune, which is the 100 subscriber threshold, I've been contemplating what my URL should be. And this has involved several walks around the neighborhood. And my first thought was to change it to Reseller School, keeping with that whole eBay tutorial and researching things you might sell theme, but possibly adding some other information about other reselling platforms. And I sat with this for a few days and I liked the sound of it, but ultimately I rejected it. I thought back to my internal answers to the what, the who, and the why questions. And those really should be at the heart of any endeavor. In fact, I, at one point in my life, wrote a book about that I then never publicized and subsequently hid from all possibility of being purchased, though I do intend maybe someday to revise it. But anyway, but really, once you understand the why, then the who and the what, and incidentally, the how and the where, tend to fall into place smoothly. So here's my why. I have never in my life had any ambition to work for the man or the woman. I always wanted to be a sort of Renaissance person, free to dabble in what interested me, always learning and turning around and putting what I knew to good use in the world to help people and to make beautiful things. And I don't know if that sounds pretentious, but that's just how I've always felt in my core, that that's what I needed to do. That was my way in this world. So I went through phases in my youth, aspiring to be an author, a filmmaker, a painter, a rock musician. And though I've done things in some of those realms, I ended up in graphic design as my so-called day job, my pay the bills job. And although I was very enthused about it as a discipline at first, I never really wanted a steady job at the same place for many years, get a 401k kind of design job. I had them here and there as I was coming up in the profession, but I always wanted just to be out on my own. I wanted to break out of the boundaries of what used to be a very siloed profession. You could be a print designer, you could be an interactive designer, then a web designer, you could be a UX designer, or you could be a photographer, or you could be a writer, or you could write front-end code, or you could write back-end code, and never the twain or never any of those shall meet. It was just like you had to do your specialist job and just stay in your lane, and I didn't ever feel okay about that. I always wanted to learn more things, try more things, and give everything I've had, really, not just one little skill set. So yeah, so I like to be the hands-on part of the project, and I like to run projects. So almost the whole time that I worked for other companies, I maintained a freelance business on the side. And about 12 years ago, I bought out the company that I was working for as my day job, thinking now was the time to, make it mine, but it still wasn't right. That company was saddled with the traditional ways of doing things, and they had very traditional clients, and they didn't understand how I wanted to change things, and I didn't understand why they wanted to do things the hard old way, and it just wasn't working, and I wasn't happy. And after a couple of years, I closed it down and went out on my own officially again as my only job, my only means of income. And eventually I found my stride being me again, and I was running things in an increasingly non-conformist way for the design and branding industry, and it was going well. I thought the way I was doing things was more fair and productive and more humane, and I liked it, and the clients who liked it, and the clients who didn't like it didn't have to work with me, and it was all going pretty well. But after about a decade of this, the hustling really started to get to me, and I was just so burnt out on the marketing. Self-promotion has never been one of my favorite things. I still procrastinate horribly when I have to do it for anything to this day. I really don't like it. But it's a necessary evil when you hang out your own shingle. So after a certain period in this burnout stage, I just wasn't getting enough work because I wasn't asking for it. And I really just didn't think I had it in me to do it anymore. So I started one foggy Christmas Eve to turn my occasional hobby of reselling into something more serious to fill in the gaps. And reselling and using my design skills to create some products and bringing my years of studying history and art history and photography to bear to be a more informed sourcer all really helped, and I was able to move pretty fast in this new world. And the years of running my own business or businesses helped too, because I had a grounding of, all that admin. And so the reselling part I found I really liked, and it was a great antidote for the sort of extreme professionalism and the hustle of the design world. And I'm at the point now, a few years later, where I do more reselling and tangential activities than I do design, which I still do to some degree. So I don't know if you really wanted to hear my life story, but I think it explains a lot about how I got here. And I've pivoted and changed and flip-flopped, and I still do it all the time, but there are constants. I believe in being an independent professional. You can call it entrepreneur or solopreneur or mompreneur or dadpreneur or self-employed individual or whatever you like, but there are people, myself included, for whom this independent life is the best life. Being your own boss, making your own rules, applying your own morals to every situation. Not everyone is like this, but for those of us who are, there's kind of no choice. So beyond personal temperament and history, there are a few other reasons also why I feel strongly about this kind of life. I spent my formative years way back when, smack in the middle of the late 80s and early 90s, when the value systems of punk and indie rock were the predominant moral systems for those of us who bent that way. This non-corporate, individual, hands-on, true to yourself and your art. And you just can't extract that from my soul. You can try to take away my black clothes, but you can't take the punk rocker out from the inside. But as I got older, I found more and more kinds of heroes that I admired through history that were guided by similar principles. And I found like-minded contemporaries who had nothing to do with music or even art, who were applying these kind of ethics to all kinds of businesses. And I knew that was my tribe. So I won't go into the deeper socioeconomic politics of it all at this point, but I'll just say my belief in the small business sector of the economy runs really deep. And this is where I get to the point. This is the TLDR. So I'm changing the name of my channel to Indieconomy. I've played with this brand name before, but I never really hung it on the right thing, and I think finally this is the right thing. So I plan to keep making the kinds of videos that I have been, but also to expand here and there to the greater working for yourself milieu. I've spent my whole life cobbling together the right blend of independent projects to make a dream job. And by job, I mean integrated work and life. And I might not have it right yet. I probably don't. But I know I've learned a lot of things in the process. So hopefully I can figure out how to share those with you. And yes, I'm going to make more eBay tutorial type videos, more history and ephemera, also other selling platforms as relevant, and diverse ways to bring home the vegan bacon, and bigger picture strategies as well, all with the aim of building community and helping you, my fellow independents, to make the life you want. I hope this connects with you, and please give me the proverbial thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if it does. And thank you so much for being an early adopter to Indie Economy, and take care.